So, Nadia Boulanger was the teacher of more American composers than any 10 teachers in history. She was teacher of Aaron Copland and Virgil Thompson, Ellie Siegmeister, who was my teacher, Marc Blitzstein. I got to know Marc Blitzstein's work through Ellie Siegmeister and Leonard Bernstein. And at one point, Leonard Bernstein said, Leonard Lehrman is Marc Blitzstein's dibble, because I completed 20 of his works. And the piece you're about to hear is actually a world premiere. What's the matter?
A little louder, please.
Speak louder. Okay.
Yeah.
The piece you're about to hear is actually a world premiere because I wrote it for this concert. That is to say, I arranged it for this concert. Blitzstein was best known for his translation of the Threepenny Opera and his original operas, The Cradle Will Rock and Regina. Ellie Siegmeister seemed to think that his finest work, as did Ned Rorem, was an opera that he wrote based on a story by Bernard Malamud called Idiots First. And Bernstein was planning to finish that, but for various emotional reasons he found that he couldn't. And Siegmeister was asked, and he recommended me, and then I finished it. And that was the first of 20 works of his, or actually 21 if we count this one. His magnum opus, by his own estimation, was the opera Sacco and Vanzetti, based on the case of the two Italian immigrants, anarchists, who were arrested and convicted and executed for a crime that they did not commit in 1927. Actually, next year is the centennial of the arrest of Sacco and Vanzetti. And Blitzstein's opera we were planning to do in some form at that time. He died in 1964 and left a lot of materials, but not enough for people to perform the work until I completed it. I worked on it for 25 years, and in 2001 it was performed at the Lucille Hotel White Barn Theater in Westport, Connecticut, August 17, 18, 19 of 2001, just weeks before 9/11. And after 9/11, it has been an uphill battle to try to get an opera about anarchists as heroes produced, for obvious reasons. But next year, they say it's the centennial of their arrest, and I'm hoping that it's going to happen. What Blitzstein did in that opera was he was taking materials from an earlier work called Reuben Reuben, an urban folk opera musical that took place in Little Italy in Manhattan. And it opened and closed in Boston. It was not a success, but it had some of the most gorgeous music that he'd ever written, even though the book was a shambles. And he knew that, and was disassembling it, using different parts of it in different works, particularly in Sacco and Vanzetti. And when we're here again, August 18th, you will hear the major aria of Sacco that he completed, based on a fragment from Reuben Reuben. And what you're going to hear now is also based on a fragment of Reuben Reuben, but he didn't take it, I did. And that's kind of an interesting story, because the original tune was called The Hills of Amalfi. My Nina, I see the hills of Amalfi. It was sung by a group of men in Little Italy. And in the opera Sacco and Vanzetti, I put this music into the mouth of Sacco and his wife Rosa, wanting to go back to Torremaggiore, their hometown in Italy. This came to me actually as Helene and I were taking a trip to Italy to visit the families and the graves of Sacco and Vanzetti. And as we were traveling from Villafalletto, which is where Vanzetti was from, down to Torremaggiore, where Sacco was, we passed the Hills of Amalfi. And I said, the Hills of Amalfi, Torremaggiore, Villafalletto, it all fits together. So I made this duet, which comes in the middle of the opera. It's one of the most exciting, beautiful parts of the opera. It's Blitzstein music, but refashioned by me with words to Torremaggiore and Villafalletto. It was such a beautiful piece, everybody loved it so much, that I decided to arrange it. And my father and my niece, and his niece, played it as a duet for violin and viola, and a trio, actually, violin, viola, and piano. And I decided for this concert, I would make it for rearrange it for violin, cello and piano. So here you are, the trio, Torremaggiore, based on the Hills of Amalfi, from two of Blitzstein's works, as arranged by me for this concert. I forgot to say that Blitzstein was also a pupil of Boulanger, and in fact a very loved pupil of Boulanger, particularly because he did an essay on her sister, Lily Boulanger, and she was just tremendously grateful for him for that. The other thing I want to say about Blitzstein is that Helene and I just did a recording that was issued in London earlier this year, and if any of you would like to have this, we have lots of copies of it. You can make a contribution or not, but we really would like you to have it as a souvenir of the concert. We have enough for everybody. So here's Torremaggiore.